Welcome back, Curry Crew. Today we have a delicious and easy to make recipe. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So guys, like always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Punch that notification bell. And without any further ado, let's jump into our recipe. So for our scampi, I have two pans. In one, I have some water boiling for our pasta, and in the other, where I will make our scampi sauce. So starting with a tablespoon of olive oil, and I will turn up the heat to about a medium and wait for our oil to heat up. Quick tip, keep a lid on the water in order to help it reach a boil faster. So it should take about a minute for our oil to heat up, and you'll know it's hot enough when the oil starts to move around like water in the pan. Once our oil is hot enough, we're going to add to it half a red onion chopped into slices. You don't need to cut it into small pieces or anything like that, since we still want bite-sized pieces of onion when we're eating. So we're going to cook the onion for about 3 to 4 minutes, or until they start to soften up a bit and become a bit transparent. Make sure to keep stirring them in order to avoid any sticking to the bottom of the pan. This dish is super easy to make, and if you already have your veggies chopped and your water boiling, you could make this in about 10 minutes. Overall, if you include the prep time, this is like an easy 20-minute recipe. So it's perfect for like a weeknight, and one that you're definitely going to fall in love with. So once our onions are cooked, to that we're going to add our garlic. So I took about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic and just gave it a rough chop until it becomes like tiny pieces. And then we're going to cook our garlic just until it starts to brown up a bit around the edges. You can always use less garlic if you want. I like a lot of garlic, so I tend to use a little bit more than what you would normally use, but you can always use a little less. So we don't want to cook our garlic for too much, or else it's going to burn and it's going to leave behind a bitter taste. So once our garlic is pretty much done and just gets a little bit of color around the edges, we're going to add in a dash of black pepper for that nice peppery taste and also seasonings. Give it a nice mix, and to that we're going to add 1/4 cup of white wine. And this is so that we can deglaze our pan. What that means is we're basically making sure that all the flavors that got stuck to the bottom of the pan are not wasted. And we're going to cook this for about 4 minutes, or until the liquid reduces to half the amount that it originally was. In doing so, we are cooking out all of the alcohol, so we're left behind with just the sweetness and the tartness of the wine, but none of the alcohol. So all the steam you see here is the alcohol evaporating and leaving the pan. Meanwhile, I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of chili flakes. Now, I like extra, but if you don't, you can always add a little bit less. So after giving it a quick mix, we are about 4 to 5 minutes away from finishing up our dish, and our water is boiling nicely. So I'm going to remove the lid, and I'm going to start adding salt to our pasta water. Now this may look like I'm adding a lot of salt, but you want your pasta water to be salty. Think ocean water. Next, I'm going to throw in some angel hair pasta, about 3 to 4 servings worth. Now this is going to take about 3 to 4 minutes to cook, which is perfect timing for us to finish our sauce. So our sauce has thickened up nicely and all of the alcohol has evaporated. So next I will add in 4 tablespoons of salted butter. You can use unsalted, but then you might have to add some extra salt to season your dish. But if you use salted, you won't need to add any extra salt. So wait for the butter to melt, and then I'm going to add in a pinch or 2 of some dried herbs. So it's basically a mix of oregano, thyme, and basil. Feel free to add in some Italian seasoning if that's all you have. Next, I'm adding in some cut bell peppers. I used mini peppers so I can get some different colors in there, but feel free to just use one regular sized bell pepper if you want. We're not trying to cook the pepper too much because we want it to retain its crunch. We're just mixing it so that it can become coated in our butter sauce. Next, we're going to add in 1 to 2 tablespoons of heavy cream and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Give it a nice mix, and then finally I'm adding in some fresh lemon juice. About half a teaspoon, not too much. You don't want it to be too sour or anything like that. And our sauce is pretty much done, so you can pretty much turn off the heat for our sauce. By now our pasta should also be cooked. Easiest way to check is just give it a quick taste to confirm. It should be soft but also have a little bit of a bite. That's how you know it's al dente. Then you can take a slotted spoon and just transfer the pasta into the pan. You don't want to strain it because you want some of that pasta water to go into the sauce, because it will help thicken up the sauce a bit, and it will also add a little bit of salt as well. As you saw, I didn't need to add any salt in the sauce because the rest of the ingredients did enough to season it. So give it a nice mix and we're almost done. I'm just going to chop up some fresh basil to add to our pasta. So take your washed and dried basil leaves and put all of the leaves that you have into the biggest one and roll it up into like a little cigar type shape. And then you can just chop them up all at once. Then you can take these fresh leaves and top our scampi with it, and you can also put some extra parmesan if you want, and our dish is complete. It smells amazing, it's going to taste even better, so dig in. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you try it out at home, let us know how it turned out for you, and keep on cooking.